everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hi. How is everybody doing today? I hope you guys are all doing fabulous. Um, it's just going to be me today. And, that's always scary when Anne leaves me to my own devices because I get in trouble all the time. But she had an appointment this morning, so she needed to go do her thing, and I'm going to do my thing. So, hi, Karen. It's what does it say? 11:30. Oh, the time for me is Pacific time. Okay, so it should say, well, from my computer it says Pacific time. I don't know what happened, but hi, Karen. How are you today? Okay, so we are giving away a big, huge gift card, $50 gift card from Pink and Maine, which we absolutely love. So I'm going to be doing them today. Hi, Becca. So, yeah. Hi, Brenda. So we're doing some fun stuff with Pink and Maine dyes today. I didn't get a chance to show you ahead of time. Hi, Cindy. What I did because I was still working on it, but but at least hopefully I'll remember how to do it this week, right? Because you guys were with me last week when I completely, lost my mind. So, anyways. But before we do that, I have some other exciting news to share with you guys. Okay, so as you guys know, you've been watching me for a long time. So you guys know that my husband and I have two dachshunds, mini dachshunds, right? And we have Ruby and Emmy, and we lost Emmy in April, the beginning of April. So it was so hard. Ruby had a really hard time dealing with it because that was her companion for almost 12 years. So it was a hard adjustment. But my husband and I decided we wanted to go ahead and get another. I told Ann, I don't know what I'm thinking. I probably lost my mind getting a puppy at my age, but she is so adorable. So I'm going to have Rich bring her to me so I can introduce you guys to my cute little baby. Because she's just so sweet. Come here, my love. Okay, so you say hi. Can you say hi? All right, you guys. So this is Mimi. Little Mimi. Isn't she adorable, you guys? Oh my gosh. And she is such a great dog. Huh. You are. For a puppy, she really is. She's already potty trained on pads. She sleeps all night. So, I told my husband, I said, I think that, my guardian angels were going, yeah, maybe we should give her a good puppy so she doesn't lose her mind. But yeah, look at how tiny she is. She's so little. We got to have this big old bell on her, right? Because if not, we'll step on her because she's so little. So anyways, I thought I would start my live out today with my adorable new baby. Her name is Mimi. So let me give her back to her dad. Oh, there she goes. She's going to wiggle out. Thanks, babe. Yeah, she is a mess. Let me tell you, she is a mess. So, yeah, you know what, Karen? Now that you saw, I just saw your message right now, or your comment. I knew that dogs grieved when they lost owners, or stuff like that. I did not know that dogs grieve when they lose companions, and that with Ruby, because she's 15 years old. So for that just threw me because I had no idea that she was going to react the way she did. And she's kind of tolerating the puppy for right now because, like I said, she's 15. The puppy is 9 weeks. So yeah, so anyways, we got that going on. But hopefully they'll both get in there together and have some fun like my other two did. And I am a firm believer. I am a firm believer that when you lose an animal, that animal picks your next. And I really, really think that that's what happened. So I'm very excited to, start this new chapter with this goofy puppy. She's going to be loads of fun. But anyways, okay, so enough about me and my crazy dogs and, all of that fun stuff. So let me see. Okay, hi, Helen, Diana, Isabel, hi, Cindy. I think I said hi to Cindy already. So, hi, Lisa. If I missed you guys, I apologize. But anyway, so let me get started. I want to show you what we're going to be doing today. As I said, we're going to be working with Pink and Maine. And I have their dies, and I absolutely love them. Now, hang on one second, because I want to see if my little iPad here is going to let me see us. Since Anne's not with me, because, I have a hard time doing two things at once. Okay, I cannot find it. Where is it? It's not pulling it. All right, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so this is what I want to show you guys. And it was so much fun to make. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is what we are making today. This really adorable wall hanging. I'm going to explain some things of why I picked what I did at the time. But yeah, this is what we're making. And it's a good size. So I want to show you guys how to do this. And it's just, just a whole lot of fun when you're crafting, and sometimes you just want to have a whole lot of fun. That's what this was for me. So I decided, since we were going beach theme today, I was going to wear my beach shirt, because I am already into beach mode, although I'm not leaving for another month, but I'm ready now. Trust me. So I'm going to set that over there just for a second. There we go. Okay. Now let me switch gears here and see. Nope, that's not what I want. Come on. All right, I'm not going to mess with it, because it's going to end up irritating me, and then that's never good. Okay, so let me switch cameras real quick, and then I'm going to show you how to do this, and you guys are going to have a lot of fun. But we're going to be doing a whole lot of gluing today. There's a lot of gluing going on, so just so you know, okay? All right, so let me switch here real quick, and we will get started. All right. There we go. Okay, there we are. All right, so let me grab that again. All right, so this is what we're doing. I know my table and my camera, I really should get rid of that banner, because that's annoying me. Hang on a second, guys. Let me see if I can get rid of it. There we go. Okay, much better. So then you can see the whole thing. All right, so this is what we're making. Now, the crazy thing about this one is, last year sometime, I think it was, I don't remember for sure, but I went into the dollar store and I found this board, right? It's a cork board. And I absolutely loved the shape, because it was in the shape of a tag. I absolutely loved it. And, it was like $1 or something like that. And then I brought it home and I kind of tucked it away. And I thought, okay, I'll do something with it later. And I forgot about it. And that was that. So for this one, I decided I was going to pull it out. But then when I was looking at it again, I was like, okay, this is really ugly. I'm sorry to whoever made this. No, no, I'm not being mean, but I don't like it. So what I did, of course, and you can tell by the two side by side, I covered it up and we went from there. So originally, that was my thought, was to do a note board, right? because it is a cork board. And even though there's paper on it, you can still put, tacks in to set notes. So if you want to do that, that's cool. But if not, you could leave this part off and maybe add a couple more, summary elements to it and just use it as a wall hanging. I think either way you decide to do it, you're going to love it. And it's, like I said, they're in the dollar store. I know they're there. So even though I bought it last year, my daughter was just in there and she said, it's because I asked her and she said that they had some apparently from last year too. So they are in there in the dollar stores. So that's how my little project here came about. Now, let me show you. These are the dies that we're working with today from Pink and Main. I've always loved Pink and Main, not just because they have fabulous dies and stamps, but I just love the fact that they're all pink. I just love that. I think that's just adorable. Michelle, when she was planning this out for her marketing plan, I loved it. So this is one of the dies that we're going to be using today. And this one, this little die here, comes with the Aloha. Where's my other word? Oh, here's this one too. Okay. It comes with the word Aloha. And then also it has the outline of Aloha. Okay. So I did not use this one. So I'm going to put that one off to the side. This is what it looks like though. Okay. So this is the Aloha, and then this is the shadow to use. Okay, but I did not use that one. What I used was, and that one comes with this die, the hibiscus. I think this is a hibiscus. I'm not a garden person. You guys know that. But it's a Hawaii flower. That's how I look at it because I don't know. All right, and then this one is this really cute sun, and it's got the flip-flops on it, and it's absolutely adorable. So much fun with that. And then that one comes with the one that I used that says summer hello, and then, or sunny hello, sorry, it says sunny hello, and then it too also has the outline for the word. If you want to do that. I did not use the outline, I just used this die. Okay, so to get started, let me put these off to the side since I showed you guys. Okay, so what you're going to do is just take your base here, and I just gave it a couple of coats around it with some acrylic paint, a nice, summery aqua color. So I did that all around, and then I did go onto the cork too because I wanted to make sure that if any of the edges came up short on my paper, that you wouldn't be able to see. You would just see this color. So what we did then is I took my pattern paper, and this is a little bit smaller than the actual plaque or sign. I don't know what we're going to call it, cork board. Okay. It's a little bit, my paper is a little bit smaller. So I fixed that, and I'll show you how I did that. So we're going to start with this. And all I did was I took my big 12 by 12 paper, I laid it on top, and then you can either take like a scoring tool or something like this, and I just laid the whole piece on, and then I went around with this, and I did this, and then I got the indentation on my paper. So that way I knew exactly where I needed to cut. So there's a little tip there for you. All right, so now what we are going to do is let me make sure, because one of my tape runners was running out. All right, so what we're going to do first now is just add some tape for this. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do a lot of gluing and taping on this project. Okay, so I'm going to start here, And I like to do it this way because, I can never get anything on straight. So I like to do it just a little bit at a time. So then that way I can pull it off if I need to. And then you're just going to take the tape runner and go all the way down each of the sides. I did like a big one right across there and then down here at the bottom. Okay. And then I'm just going to lay the rest of this down. There we go. And now you have your base. Okay. Perfect. All right. So then what I did with this, once I got this on, then I was ready to start decorating. And as I said, you can see down here, there's still some of the cork that's showing. So I did not want that at all because it's ugly. So I just took a piece of trim, some ribbon trim, and we're going to fold the sides back here. Let me grab my glue gun. Okay, and then I'm going to fold these back just a little bit, so you don't have the raw edges. I'm going to unplug it. And then I want to make sure before I lay it down that it is exactly the right size that I cut. Okay. So there we go. That looks good. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side and just tape this. So I hope you guys, if you joined me last week and you were with me when I had a complete brain fade, I hope that you guys got a chance to see the new edited video that I did with Long Fawn last week. So it showed the whole card and how you were supposed to put it together without messing it up like I did. But I did put the link in Facebook for you guys, just so you know that it's on our YouTube, so you can go check it out if you want to see what I did last week. All right, so now I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the rest of this. Layer down. Okay, now for me, I wanted glittery stuff, right? Because you know me, I love shiny. Anything that's shiny and blingy, I love. Okay, so this is just some washi tape that I have. And then I just laid that right on top of there. And we're going to trim that baby. And then that just kind of gives the bottom part here, this, this ribbon is pretty, but this just kind of gives it just a little bit more bling. And, who doesn't love a lot of bling, right? All right, so since this is washi tape, I still went ahead and glued it down just because I wanted to make sure that it was really going to stay. But if you are going to do that, if you're using a washi tape and you are going to do that, you do want to make sure that you move the release tape, because eventually it might pull away from the release tape and then it's going to come off. So that's why I take the release tape off of it. All right, so we're going to lay that down. There we go. And then put that down just like that. There we go. Okay, nice and pretty. All right. So next, what I want to do, because I love this tag shape so very much, I'm going to take this and then I am going to cut out my hole here. Now on my sample, of course, I finished my back, right? I put a light wash on the back and finished it, because you want to do that just in case, it ever falls off or something off the wall, and then somebody standing there that you don't want them to see that you didn't finish your back. But this one I did not finish. So what you can do is just go ahead and put a light coat on the back there, do a real pretty wash, and you're good to go. All right, so we're going to just take the straight edge right here and cut that part out. And all of this is, all of it is just really, really, I shouldn't say it because my luck, I was going to say it's, pretty simple to do. And it is. I'm just saying, for me, there's always something that's going to go crazy. But, you guys learn from all of my boo-boos. And I make a lot. All right. So then I just want to kind of press that in there just a little bit. And then when I get ready, then I'll be ready to add my really pretty tulle to the top. But right now I'm going to take this off because now we're going to start gluing. Okay, so for this, now I showed you the first die, and that is this one that I used. And I'm going to come down just a little bit. There we go. So you guys can see just a little bit better. Okay. All right. So when you cut this out, okay, let me just explain something real quick. I'm going to plug this back in. When you cut this out, you're going to get this piece. You're going to get this piece. You're going to get this piece, okay? And then this is for the flower, okay? Now, what I did with mine is I then took a circle die and let me think. I think it's 3 3¼ Okay, so I took a 3¼ inch circle die and I wanted it in a different color. And I'll tell you why. I did some of these. I cut out a bunch of these in all different colors and glitter paper, not glitter paper. I did a whole bunch because I couldn't make up my mind. But when you put it together like this, because that's how you're going to do it when you put it together, right? Okay, I wanted my petals on my flower to come up. I wanted some dimension. So that's why I added a circle behind it. And then I wanted a different color so you would be able to see that pretty when you're putting it all together. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to take the circle. Let me slide over just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we're going to take the circle and we're going to take this one first. And again, you want to make sure that, you got it on there straight. So I like to just start with just a tad bit of glue first and make sure that I get everything centered how I want it. And then I'll go ahead and finish gluing the rest of the way around. And I'll tell you, when you're using the dies, these little pieces, the glues that have these long tips to them work perfect for this. So we're just going to go all the way around now and lay that down. And then you'll see what I'm talking about once I add the petals. And don't worry about it if, you saw what I did where I got a little bit of glue there. Don't worry about it because you can just either wipe it right up or you're going to lay the other piece on top. So you don't really have to worry. Okay, so then we're going to just take that all the way around and glue that down. There we go. All right, and then next we're going to take the lighter blue and we're going to do the same thing. Now, so when you cut this out, you're going to be cutting this out in 3 different colors, right? So you've got this light green, and then you've got this blue, this aqua blue, and the petals. Okay, so you're going to use that. And then I used a little bit of glitter paper to do my stem. Okay, because I just wanted just a little bit of glitter on there. So you're going to be cutting it out in 3 different shades. All right, so we're going to now add this little guy on here. And you can see too how quick this goes together. You know, so if you're looking for like, you know, a housewarming gift or, you know, something like that, or, you know, somebody's having a luau party or something, you know, it'd be a fun gift to bring. Mine is probably going to go up in my room somewhere in my studio because I just loved how it turned out. So I'm going to hang it in here somewhere. I'm going to be running out of room soon with all of my stuff. I have my stuff hanging everywhere. All right. So we got that. And then now we're going to add this other piece. Okay. So for this, just going to lay that down inside there. And then we're just going to add a little bit again, just to get us started. Here we go. Okay, and then we're going to add all of this other fun stuff. And again, you don't need a whole lot of glue for this, okay? You just want to put it just in a few places just to be able to pin it down. It's going to stay just fine. Trust me on that. All right, so we've got that, and then this last little bit over here. Put that down. And I'll just add a little bit more right there. Okay, so now I'm ready to put my petals in. Okay, so for this, what I did then, of course, was I just kind of manipulated them a little bit. Just so, you know, just to give them a little bit of, you know, volume and depth. And because I just think it looks so pretty. And then once you get it on, right, then you can also see that real pretty dark blue that's behind there. So now for these, you're just going to add a little bit of glue right down there on the ends, okay? You want to leave these up here free because that's going to be how your petals are going to pop up. All right, so you want to leave that top part free. Don't glue it. And just glue down your bottom pieces. And then once you have them all in and they're all glued and ready, okay, then you can go back and fuss with them and, you know, pop them out a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to add this one. There and there. Okay, so, and don't forget, you guys, you want to like, comment, and share my video here. Okay, share it everywhere with everybody you know. And then you'll be in a giveaway for a $50 gift card from Pink and Maine. So Michelle was really cool about, you know, giving us the gift certificate. She's really good. So you want to also, you guys, go over to her Facebook page. And if you haven't done so already, just give it a like. You know, we like, Ann and I both like to give our sponsors, you know, a shout out and to give them some love, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be able to do half of the stuff that we do, because, you know, we really love our sponsors, and you know, they are really good to us. So make sure that you know, let them know that you appreciate them. All right, so now we're just going to add this last little piece here. Here we go. Okay. And then I'll just in that up just a little bit. But you see the different dimension, and then you can see it the darker shade of blue on the inside, and I love that. I just absolutely love that. I love how, it gives it that double dimension. You could also layer your flowers if you wanted. That would also be really beautiful. If you cut out multiple leaves, or these pieces here, they're not really leaves, but this piece of the flower, if you cut those in multiple layers, you could do it that way also. That would also be really beautiful to do. Okay, so last but not least, I'm going to add my stem here. And this one I did glue down. Okay, just because I tried it, not gluing it, and I liked the way it looked better when I glued it down. So that's what I did. All right, so now we've got our first little flower here. And then, like I said, you can go back and, just pinch these together a little bit more just to give it a little bit more dimension. You don't want to, because my first thought would maybe be to put some foam tape behind there. But if you are going to do that, if you're going to do dimensions, you want to make sure that you just put a tiny bit of foam tape so you can hide it. Okay. Because you can't put a big chunk under there or you'll be able to see it, and you don't want that. All right. So now our flower's done. So now we're going to put our little sun here together. So for this one, okay, I cut out, let me put this over here. Okay, so this is the one that we used for this. So I cut this out twice with a yellow, this is like an orangish yellow kind of cardstock, and then also the aqua color, which is the same as this one. And then I also did a circle so I could sit everything on top of it. And then, because when you cut this out, you're also going to, if you're going to lay your whole paper on there to cut it out, you're going to get your shoes and stuff too. So I'm going to show you those in just a minute. But right now, we're just going to start by putting the blue. And I did it like this because I just loved how the blue made the yellow glitter or the yellow paper, how it made it pop. I just thought that was just really pretty. So again, we're going to add some glue to get us started. And then just add a little bit around your edges here. Then you can go back and do that. Oh. Okay. And then, all right, let's do this. It'll be easier. We're just going to add it right there to the triangle shape. That'll be easier. Then you won't have to worry about swiping the glue off. All right, so we're going to add this. Very cool. Okay. Now this part right here, I'm not going to worry about. It's got a little bit of glue on it. I'm not going to worry about it because it's going to get covered anyways. Okay, so the next piece I did it in like I said, this yellow orangish color pattern paper. And then when I set it to glue it, I offset it. So you can see, instead of setting it, because you don't want it right on top because then you're not going to see the blue. So I liked it like this to just offset it. So again, you're going to do the same thing. Get a couple of them started, and then from there, you're just going to go all the way around. All right, so we're going to start here. And it's easy to line things up because you can see that this is going to go right on top of the other one. So you don't have to really worry about, getting things straight. It's just the first piece that you're laying down. You want to make sure that you get that straight because everything else is going to go to bonkers if you don't. Unless you like things, off center, which, sometimes I do, but not for this. This is just too cute. And those of you that went to Bellicon, was at our Bellicon event, I believe these two sets were included in your swag. The two die sets. I'm not totally for sure because I did not put the swag bags together. I know Ann did, but I think they were in the swag bags. So Karen, you're in here. I don't know if you'll remember or not. Oh, I think Michelle must be in here because I just saw Pink and Maine. Okay, so, all right, so there we go. We've got that one down. Now we're going to add this last little circle. And just get that glue around there. Yep, that's the right side. Okay. And then we're going to glue that down. There we go. Yep, it's sticking to me. I gotta say, I've had so much glue over me the last few days. And it's so funny too, painting wise. Okay, so I've got a funny story for you guys. All right, so I have seen my husband paint our whole downstairs and maybe get a speck of paint on his hands, nowhere else, maybe just a speck or two. Yeah, no, just painting this board that I did, I had it everywhere. I had glue and paint. It was everywhere. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a crazy crafter. My husband's just like, how do you get so dirty when you're painting something? It's like, I don't know. I just don't know what the heck I'm doing half the time. All right, so now we've got our sunny hello. Now I wanted these to also have some dimension, so I cut out 3. And then what we're going to do here is, again, we're going to, let me get some of that glue off of that tip. We're just going to add just a little bit. And again, you do not have to go over every single piece of these words with glue. If you just tack it down every couple places, you'll be fine. It will stay down and you won't have any issues. Because, if you tried to glue all of this, that's a lot of gluing. I mean, if you got the time and you want to, do that, I guess that's okay. But see, now I have everything sticking to me. All right, so let me get this last little bit here. But yeah, you don't need to do all of the letters, just a little dab here and there. All right, so we've got that one down, and then we're going to add the third one right on top. And then that's just going to give it, like I said, a little bit of dimension. And it looks really, really pretty on the actual cork board, because you can see that it's popped out and it looks really pretty. So we love that. All right, so I'm going to glue in here. There we go. And again, adding just a little bit here and there. And then laying that down right on top. There we go. Okay, so now we've got all 3 of our layers. And then we're going to put it right in the center there. And just glue that puppy down. All right, and again, we're just going to add a little bit of glue. Don't need a whole lot. Just a little here and there. And then we're going to lay that right on top. There we go. So now you have these 2 really cool little elements. And these are perfect for cards, all kinds of things. But, sometimes I like to get away from the cards and I like to do something, different. I like different surfaces. So that's always fun for me. So that's why I decided I didn't want to do a card with this. I wanted to do the cork board because I just thought that's so cool. All right, so now we're ready to finish this up. So for the note part of it, okay, what I did was I just took a small piece of wood that I had, and I went ahead and I got a little bit of the paint around the sides there because I wanted the edges covered. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to set it right there on top. And I have found that tape works perfect for this. So what I did for this then is I went ahead and I created this design in my Canva program. Now you could use a border die, a border stamp, a frame. You can do all kinds of different, things. But for me, I just went ahead and did it real quick on my computer. And then I added the word notes on there too. So that's just something that I do every once in a while. If I'm like in a hurry and I want to make sure that something gets done, then I might do my signs or whatever on my computer instead of stamping it all out. But then what we're going to do is we're just going to lay this right on top. There we go. Okay. And now we are ready to finish this. Okay. So let me grab my glue gun again. And I got some little doodads here. And I wanted to show you guys. Okay. So I just took some shells. I had these are buttons that I had, just ocean themed. And I just thought was really cute. This one I did, and I'll let you guys see it there. Okay. So what I did with this is I just took a tiny little shell and I added some beads on the inside. And then I added a couple more little tiny shells on the inside, right on top, and then also another one here on the side. And then I adhered it to just the piece of this. It's like a raffia trim, right? I think it's what it's called, something like that. So just another little something to give it some dimension so it's, up. And so we're going to put this one right here in the center. That's about center, it looks like. Okay, so we're going to add just a little bit of glue right here. And that's going to hold that. Okay, and add a little bit of glue under this shell. There we go. Whoops. Okay, and now we're ready to add our little shells and our little buttons down here. So these are, I can't remember where these were from, but you can find these kind of things. Buttons Galore and More has a lot of really cute beachy type buttons. You can try with them. I think I got these on Amazon. I don't know. When I do my blog post, I will list where I got them if in case you guys wanted to get some. All right, so I just took my little elements here and just added them down at the bottom. You know, kind of give it a little oomph down there. A little bit more fun stuff. All right, so we're going to add that one, and then this last one is going to go right about there. All right. So we'll put our other little seahorse right there. And now you have all that cute little pretty trim down at the bottom. Isn't that pretty? Love that. Okay, so now to finish it all off, we're going to take some of the glitter raffia stuff, tulle or whatever it is, it's tulle. And oh, this stuff makes a mess, but that's all right because, you know, sometimes you got to make a mess when you're having fun. All right, so let me grab my bigger scissors here. There we go. Okay, we're going to cut this. Oh, I don't know how long that is. Let me see. I want to say, yeah, maybe about a foot. Okay. You know, I'm not real hip on measuring. I want it long enough to where I can tuck it inside my hole there. Okay, so you're going to gather it like this. Okay, and then, oh, we got glue stuck to us. Okay, we do not want glue on our pretty tulle. Okay, so we're going to take that, make sure it's sort of straight. There we go. All right, and plop it in there. And then you're going to pull it around. There we go. And then just pull it tight. Okay. So because it's tulle and it's got glitter on it, you do have to fuss with it a little bit, but you get the idea. So now you've got that little pretty one right there at the top. And then I added a second piece, which was, I don't know, maybe 8 inches or so, guys. I didn't want a real big piece for this because all I wanted to do was take it and then tie a knot in the center of it. There we go. Okay, and then you want to fan this out some, you know, fuss with it a little bit, make sure it's all pretty. Because you got to have pretty. All right, there we go. Oh, see, it gets everywhere. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's everywhere. I had it all over the puppy. She was sitting in my lap last night as I was crafting. And she had glitter all over her head. It was kind of funny. And I thought, well, that's your initiation into this family because I craft and all of my dogs have glitter or have had glitter on them, on their bodies more than once. Okay, so now I'm going to take this little piece and add it right here on my big bow. And that just kind of gives it another little, you know, just a cute little fluffy thing there. I don't know. I kind of like it. Okay. And then we're going to take a shell and run a little bit of glue around the bottom, ouch, and the top there. And then you're going to lay that right on top. Okay. Just like that. There you go. So now you've got your top all done. Isn't that adorable? All right, let's go back up a little bit now while I finish this. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're going to finish it off. So what you want to do then is you want to take your note holder. And I'm just going to lay this down with some tape. But I would suggest that you do it with glue. Okay. I'm just going to do it with tape just to make it quicker. All right. So we're going to take that and center that right there at the top. And then we're going to take our two beautiful little elements here. And again, I'm going to add some tape to the back. And then right before we finish this, then I'm going to show you how I did the shoes. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to add our little sun down here. Oh, we're running out. Okay, that one's done. This is why you always have extra on hand. Okay, and then we're going to lay this right down there. Okay? All right. And then to finish it, when I told you that I, cut out all of the cool, the different colors on the die, and I cut it in different shades of cardstock. Oh, there it is in this one. This one is the one that has the flip-flops on them. So these are really tiny. So what I did for these is I cut the bottom here in some glitter paper. And then I just added the rest on top. So what we're going to do for this is, okay, so that one's going to go this way. You can tell by the shape of them where these pieces go. Yeah, let me come down just a little so you can see a little better. Okay. So you can see, that they're shaped one left and one right. Okay, so we're going to add the top here. And this one was a little bit tricky only because, it's tiny. But it was a little tricky. All right, so we're going to add this piece right there. Let me see if I want to scooch it up a little bit. Whoops. All right, do it this way. Okay, you just want to make sure that you get that backing. Oh, I need more glue. It gets a little bit, you need a little bit more glue when you're using with the glitter paper. Okay, so I think we've got that piece down. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same for this one. Just add, come on, there we go. Just add a little bit of glue here. And plop that on. And then before the glue sits and you can't move anything, I just kind of set them down next to each other and made sure that they were kind of the same size. You don't want to have one huge right one and then a smaller left one, right? So I just kind of set them down and went, okay, yeah, that looks close enough. And then this last little piece, we're going to put this right on top. So very, very cute. All right, so I'm going to line that up and put that there. There we go. And then what you can do for these two pieces here, you can just kind of tuck them behind there a little bit. And if you want to, you can glue them down. Don't have to. They're not going to go anywhere. All right, and then we're going to do the same with this one. Stick that on there. Just want to make sure that you get everything on there straight. All right, there we go. And then again, like I said, tuck those behind, just like that. Okay. All right, so now you got your little flip-flops. So adorable. All right, so what we're going to do for those, and I think that was the one piece I did not cut out. So I'm going to show you on my finished one. So what I did was I had some of this white corrugated, and then I just added my two little flip-flops, laying down there, glue them on, glue the corrugated paper down, and then you have this really, really super cute. Let me go back up again. Super cute holder. Look at that. Now, as I said, you could do a lot of different things with this other than just, use it as a corkboard. You could just use it as a plain old, wall hanging for your room or, whatever, your bathroom. My bathroom happens to be in a beach theme. So I thought about maybe putting it in there, and I might still. I don't know. But yeah, see how easy that was? But so much fun. So much fun. All right, you guys. Let me put this all off to the side here. You guys talk amongst yourselves for 1 second. And I will switch my camera. All right. Let me see. Where am I? There we go. Nope. There we go. All right. See how simple that was? And just a whole lot of fun, right? I loved it. It is a lot of fun to create. And as I said, you can use these dies for a multitude of different things. I just wanted to do something different besides a card this time. So, I wanted to give you guys another idea, another way to use them. But let me just kind of go over to see if there's any questions. I have a feeling what I'm going to have to do, guys, is I'll look over everything when I'm done. And then that way I can see if you've got questions or whatever, since Anne's not here today to, field those for me. Yeah, that's what I will do. Okay, so yeah, in case you guys just have questions. Okay. All right. So there you go. Now, don't forget, okay, like, comment, and share my video here. Make sure you head over to Pink and Main, give them some love. But like, comment, and share my video, hashtag Bella Crafts. That way, if you put the hashtag Bella Crafts in, that's what the randomizer picks up when it picks a winner. Okay. So just want to make sure that you guys get it right. For those of you that are watching for the very first time, it's how we do things. We keep things. We get the majority of our views on replay. It's really hard. Ann and I have talked about this before. It's really hard to try to find a time that's good for everybody. So what we like to do is leave the giveaway open. Okay. So we leave it open until the following Tuesday. So you have until next Tuesday at midnight Central Time, okay, to get in on the giveaway. But we're going to leave it open for a whole week for all of our replay viewers, so they also have a chance to win. Okay, and that is going to be a $50 gift card from Pink and Main. Thank you so much, Michelle. We absolutely love your stuff, and thank you for sponsoring with us. I don't know if you're still in here or not, but thank you so much. So that is it. Oh, no, I forgot one thing. I have to name last week's winner. Okay, so last week I did, when I lost my mind, I did the Lawn Fawn card, right? So that is, I did not, you guys, this has been such a crazy week. This has been a crazy year for me. Just altogether, just a crazy year. I want to just skip this year, and I've said it before. But, anyways, I didn't get a chance to get my blog post up. I will get that done for last week and also this week. They will both be up when I get them done. Okay. But last week I did the card with Lawn Fawn Products. They do a $25 gift card, and the winner for that is Linda Zambori. So I did not see Linda in here today. I know she was here last week. So congratulations, Linda. I'll be getting a hold of you. You won from Lawn Fawn. But yeah, so much fun. All right, you guys. So until next week, I hope you guys have an amazing week. I'm probably going to be a little bit crazy with, a new puppy in the house. Oh, she's so cute. But until then, you guys, make sure that you take some time to craft, because it really is good for your soul, and it just makes everything so much better. All right. So take care, everybody, and I will see you all next week. I will be here. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great week. Bye.